Good morning, everyone. We have Coach Payton for the call. Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Patrick, Coach, we'll begin with Andrew Mason of the Fan. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, Sean, in what ways has Bo's growth with more reps and games and performance allowed you to expand the offensive menu in recent weeks?
Well, I think repetition is where it begins, and the more and more you rep a certain play, a certain scheme, the more and more you get comfortable with it, and you kind of know where all the answers are relative to. Bo said something that was real sharp yesterday. Like, we send in a play for a certain defense, and you get another defense. The better plays have answers versus more of the defenses. And as he gets comfortable with where those answers are, then you can expand on it. And the same thing the other way around. In other words, there's certain plays we're going to have up each week that we're going to window dress. And I just think it's a gradual. I can't look at like one game and say that was the game, but it's just a gradual process of confidence, both in what he's comfortable with, and then confidence and what the others around him can do with it. So, it's kind of something that is ongoing. And honestly, I don't think that ever really. There's no conclusion to it. You're always tinkering. You're always looking for new ways to, get a third down conversion. But I've been real impressed with the speed at which he's been able to adapt to this league.
For Gabriel, the Denver Post.
Hey, Sean, similar line of thinking. Bo brought up the throw to Vele, the 33-yarder between the safeties, and talked about the courage it took for Devon to run that route, knowing he might get hit. But I'm curious, that felt like a throw for Bo too, that takes some confidence and trust to throw. Do you sense that? Like, is that one that, you really have to trust what you're seeing to throw that ball up the middle?
Yeah, look, the week prior in Kansas City, we had a different route, and yet Bailey was primary based on the coverage. And we went somewhere else with the throw, and here came a similar type of play. There's never been on his part a lack of confidence relative to his location. He's extremely accurate, but the windows are just quicker, faster in our league. They happen, they're open for a shorter period of time, and I think that, I think that's one example of many, but one example where, does he make that throw week 1 or 2? I don't know, but certainly, we're all getting the chance to see growth, as it plays out week by week.
Eric Dalala, DenverBroncos.com.
Coach, you mentioned back in training camp that when that position, the quarterback position, is unsettled, a team can potentially see a ceiling on what it can do. I'm wondering, conversely, the impact it can have on the locker room when guys on both sides of the ball have that belief in the guy under center and what he can accomplish.
I think it's pretty powerful, and here's why. Just having experienced it for a long stretch with another player in Breeze, you always believe you're in each game. You always believe, even if you fall behind, you're in each game. And the opposite can be very difficult. And so, I think, that player who's touching the ball on every offensive play, I think it definitely can lead to a direction, both mentally as well as on the field, lead to a direction how a team thinks.
Mike Kliss, 9 News.
Yeah, Sean, Mike Shanahan is up for a pretty important Hall of Fame subcommittee vote. I know you got to know him a little bit more on your trip to Eastern Illinois this summer. As an offensive rooted head coach, what type of impact did Mike have on the game that maybe still carries on today?
Well, I would say this: forget that he's from Illinois or we went to the same college or any of those things. I've had a long friendship with him. What he's accomplished, though, in our game, he's got two Super Bowl championships. He's been behind, I would say, the minds of so many coaches working right now. I'd say almost a third of the league at one point has been impacted by Mike. And not only the coaching tree, I'm talking about the offensive tree. You know, when I got into the league, there were 2 or 3 teams that you studied, and Denver was one of them. And so, you know, we're sitting here in 2024, and we're looking at a candidate who, quite honestly, has a lot better credentials that maybe some others have gone before him as coaches. He was one of the guys, and extremely intelligent. And then the Super Bowls, the quarterbacks, the success, all those other things. I think I don't know when the vote is or how that all unfolds, but his candidacy for someone like myself it's easy, and it's all there right in front of you. And then go ahead and look back at just take the last 6 coaches that have gone in. I'll just use that number and then throw their numbers at Mike's and their accomplishments. And I think that it's a simple way to look at it and arrive at the right decision.
Zach Stevens, DNVR.
Coach, statistically, Bo Nix had nearly a perfect game yesterday. Is that also what the film showed too? And have you even been impressed with his rapid improvement and growth?
Yeah, let's not send this kid to Canton quite yet, please. All right, we're sitting here, middle of the season. He's playing well. I'm excited. The film showed he's playing well. The film showed a few things though that I wanted to scream at him about. We'll keep correcting those things. But I like the way he prepares. I love the way he comes to work. I love his enthusiasm. I think it's naturally contagious. I think he's a winner. And I think it's interesting because you guys real time are seeing it just like we are. And so I'm real encouraged by that.
Chris Thomas in the Gazette.
Yeah, hey, Sean. Bo Nix tied the team record, 14 touchdown passes in a season, set way back in 1968 by Marlon Briscoe. Wondering if you're surprised that record lasted so long, and also what might you remember and know about Marlon Briscoe, who was a pioneer as a black quarterback.
I remember Marlon Briscoe, not a lot. I wasn't aware of the record. I'm sure you're talking about a rookie record, correct?
Correct. 14 touchdown passes Briscoe had in 1968, which is how many Nix has now.
Yep. No, listen, we're hitting these milestones and I just got to give Elway a hard time. Like, what the heck? But look, the future's bright. He's young. And I'm sure each week there'll be something, or each month, maybe there's something that elapses. What I think the most important thing is this, and I mean this because you guys you spend a lot of time with them, it's getting the win. We've won some games this year where maybe his numbers weren't, and you've heard me say it doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing to be effective. Our job is to win each week, week after week after week, and there are goals. There are mid-season goals, and then ones that you want to attain postseason if that's an opportunity. So I always feel that way with him, and quite honestly feel that way with a lot of the skill players. It's an unselfish group. and they're playing pretty good team football.
Nick Cosmider, The Athletic.
Yeah, Sean, you mentioned different window dressing for similar plays, and the two screen touchdown passes yesterday kind of came out of totally different looks, but had the same end result. And I'm just curious how much you enjoy that aspect of of designing game plans in terms of being able to get to the same thing out of completely different looks and what that does to defenses.
Yeah, ironically, we've struggled with receiver screens here of late. And I say we just in the past season and a half. And yesterday, they hit two of them for touchdowns. I'm not going to say we were giddy, but it was like finally, because you put time and energy into certain plays and you have success. And then if you measure the calories burned on some plays where you don't have success, we do that throughout the season, at the end of the season. So it was nice to see those two things happening relative to, and there were kind of longer yardage situations where you're prepared to kick a field goal. So, but the execution was good and the timing was good.
Coach, that appears to be all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining.
Nothing on the defense and holding the Falcons rushing attack down. It was a Bo Nix day, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.